Hello friends and family, fellow viewers of YouTube. My name is Tavis Bradley, for those of you who do not know me. And I wanted to stop and make a quick video about my intentions for becoming a living food / raw food practitioner. And I also wanted to ask you what your intentions are, if you are considering eating a live food diet or if you have been for a while. For me, my intentions have been from the very get-go based on experiencing life in the form of life force, life energy, and developing a sensitivity within my organism so that I have the ability to download information from my environment through my nervous system, through my glands, and also so that I could be of service to the light and to life itself. And when I say that, that is not a new age kind of approach. What I'm talking about is a very down-to-earth and rooted and anchored approach. When I say light and when I say life, this is very much a realistic light that I'm speaking of, the light that abides within you and me and everything that we see around us. And so for me, I chose to walk this path and to consume these foods exclusively because I wanted to be close. I wanted to feel my source from where I come from. I wanted to be sensitive to the things that matter so that I can truly experience what it is to live in this body and to feel the currents of love, to feel the currents of life flowing through my body and the currents of peace and tranquility that come from living a life in equilibrium, a life in harmony, a life in a symbiotic exchange between the environment, the plants, the stars, the earth, all of these things. I was introduced to the living food diet through my father. My father had lived a 10-year fruitarian diet before he met my mother, and so he had definitely saturated himself within this lifestyle, and he was a teacher himself, and he had a great little following, you know, so he was doing this before I was born, and then he met my mother, and I'll tell that story sometime in detail of how that all took place. People love that story. But he met my mother, and they had us, they had a family. There's 5 of us kids, I'm one. And my father lived this lifestyle back before he met my mother, and then had a family, and then they got into the regular style of living, and you know, so that's a long story. And then my father, at one point down the road, when I was 15 years old, went to an expo. And at that time, we were a part of a mainline church. And we were all dressed up and ready to go to church. And everybody was about to get in the car. My mother and my father got into a little tango, a little fight. My father said, "I'm not going to church with you guys today." Ripped his tie and threw it on the ground, went back in. All of us kids with my mother went to church. And instead of going to church that day, he went to a health expo downtown at the Civic Center in Phoenix, Arizona. And he came back with a book, with actually many books. And one of those books was the Essene Gospel of Peace. And that book is the book that called me to this lifestyle of choosing life. It was my father that brought this book to me and inspired me in other ways before even coming across this book, but I wasn't ready yet. I was not ripe. I was still going through a lot of things at that point in my life, and I was, you know, hooked into the system in a way with my friends and being a rebel and all of these kinds of things, so I wasn't ready yet. But there was a time 3 months later, after he brought that book home, that I picked it up one day and I started looking at it. And as soon as I opened that book up, I was absolutely on a brand new journey in this lifetime for myself. And that was a guide for me, and that was an instruction manual of how to walk in harmony with these forces that I speak of. This is the book that started my journey. And so, after reading this book, I absolutely made a promise to myself and to our source that I was going to choose life from here on, from this moment on. And I said to myself that I will come to understand what the light is in this body. I will come to a place where I will understand the life force that flows through my body, and I will merge with that, and I will become one with that, and I will become that for the sake of the beauty of our Creator and for our source, and for the sake of healing and guiding other people as well. So it was kind of a multi-layered type of intention there, and there's so much more. I'm just kind of touching the surface. Just want to give you a little bit of an overview of my approach and my entering into this. And so for me, choosing life is what it's about. And when I say choosing life, I mean choosing life for the body and giving thanks and gratitude to the Creator that created it. Because from my point of view, this is how I feel and how I felt since the beginning, and why I chose this. Because I feel that this body that I have, that I'm borrowing from the Creator, is not mine. It's not mine to choose to destroy or choose to misuse. Well, when I say it's not my choice, it is my choice, but let me put it this way. If you borrow a car from your friend, and of course you have the choice to drive it off the cliff and to damage it and destroy it. Yes, you have that choice, but it is not you're not in ownership of that. Someone else is working for that or has worked for that, and it is their property, so to speak. And so, for me, it's just respectful and a way for me to give thanks and to pay my dues to our Creator, and saying that and knowing that this body, I'm borrowing it. It's like a suit that you put in your closet, and when you leave this world, you take it off and you trade it in for another one when you come back again. And so this is how I view it. So for me, it's of course it's a choice, but I say it's not a choice because for me, I would not want to choose anything else other than respecting and giving thanks to my birther and my parents that have given me birth. So for me, it's not a choice. And of course, everybody has their own choice in that. But for me, I choose life in the way of the body, and I choose life, more importantly, in the soul. Because the survival of the soul is much more important and much more profound than the survival of this body. That's why following your conscience is so important, and following the truth that is within you is so important. And not to follow someone else's truth, and to abandon your own, because that will only bring you to a place of conflict with your conscience. At some point you'll come to a place where you will say, wow, I miss myself. I miss being with myself. I have abandoned myself. Where have I been? And so you have to follow your own truth. You have to follow your conscience. And this is the survival of the soul. Doing what is true for you specifically and only you. Not following someone else's program, someone else's system. You know, I'm following my program and what I believe, what I know to be true. And I don't expect any of you to follow it. And I would kind of hope that you wouldn't really follow it all the way as much as I'm giving it to you. You have to be a spirit that is engaged in your own growth, and you have to be awake and aware and follow your promptings. If you do choose to follow the conductivity diet and you have a prompting that says, I need to go a different way, then please follow that. Please give yourself permission to do that, and don't get stuck in my program or anyone else's program, because that is not going to benefit the survival and the health of your soul, the growth of your soul, the freedom of your soul. So for me, this is why I chose to live a living food diet. It was not really about health for me in the form of the physical body, and I didn't have a disease, I didn't have any health issues. I chose it because I wanted to become life, and I wanted to become the light itself so that I could be what I was born to be within this world, in this place called Earth. So that's for me. And for you, I would like to ask what your intentions are for choosing to consume a living food diet. Are you choosing it for health reasons, because you want more energy? Are you choosing it because you want to lose weight? Are you choosing it because you want to be sexier? Are you choosing it because you want to be an example of health for others? Are you choosing it because you have a disease and you need to deal with that, and you're choosing to do it in a natural way? It's very important to deeply consider why you're wanting to become a consumer of living foods. And this is going to determine whether you succeed on it and whether you stay on it long term, and also how much health you actually achieve from it. Because your soul has to be engaged within a way of life, whatever way of life it is, as well as your body, if you really want to succeed and if you want to get the maximum results. The conductivity diet for me is engaging with soul and body. So they both meet together in a commitment, in a choice to choose life on so many different levels. And that is an absolute conviction and a commitment. And that's where I'm coming from. And I would hope that anybody who decides to follow the conductivity diet does not leave out the application and the involvement with the soul, as well as seeking the physical benefits. So what is your intention? You need to ask yourself this on a very, very, very core level. Why do I want to live on a living food and a raw food diet? Because this is going to determine your outcome. You have to ask yourself this, and you have to be completely honest with yourself, and then you will be able to be vulnerable, and you'll be able to look at the parts of you that are seeking it for reasons that might be artificial or ephemeral, so to speak. And then you can bring them out and you can look at them, and what you get to do then is dissolve it and to work through it, and then come to a place where you are choosing it because you love yourself and because you love life. And so you come to a point where you choose life completely. You're not just saying, I choose life. You're choosing life, and there's nothing that can deter you from choosing life. And every moment and every day, every choice you make will be saturated in life itself. So be honest with yourself. Go down deep and ask yourself, why do I want to choose life? Why do I want to choose living foods? How much do I love myself? Do I love myself enough to become what I was born to become? A perfectly healthy organism, and experiencing the currents of love that come from the source, the currents of peace and the currents of life. I just wanted to make this video to encourage you to look inside yourself, to ask yourself why you're choosing to eat raw foods. What does it mean for you, really, beyond maybe getting more energy, losing weight, or maybe looking sexier? Those are all good reasons, and they have their own destiny, and they will take you to the next step, just like everything in life. But I just wanted to encourage you to go down deep, very, very deep, and to ask yourself, do I love myself all the way? And am I choosing life for my soul as well, and not just my body? And am I focusing on my soul? Is my soul engaging and participating within this journey of living foods? Just food for thought. Thank you for viewing this. If you're interested in learning more or watching more of my videos, please subscribe. I thank you very much for watching, and I wish you a light-filled day, and please choose life. Thank you.